Articles and thoughts on Vedanta by His Holiness Shri Sachidanandendra Saraswati Mahaswamiji, Adhyatma Prakasha Karyalaya, Hodengasing. In this book, we have been seeing uh, aids to reflection on Vedanta. In that, 76 points we have seen. Today's is the 77th one. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. As for the contention of the nihilist who denies all external objects on the analogy of a dream, etc., that cognitions of a pillar, etc., even in waking can very well be without an object, inasmuch as they are no more than cognitions. Shankara's rejoinder is as follows: waking ideas cannot be just like ideas experienced in a dream, for there is dissimilarity between the two. To explain, the thing seen in a dream is falsified on waking, for on waking one feels my meeting with a number of people in a dream is all false. Only my mind was overpowered by sleep when this delusion occurred. Alike, sublation of ideas occurring in magic, etc., takes place in the normal state, but no experience of pillar, etc., in waking is even stultified in any other state. Moreover, what we call a dream experience is only an instance of memory. The difference between memory and actual perception is actually intuited by everyone personally. For one feels, I remember my beloved son but do not perceive him. I wish to see him. This being so, it is impossible to say for one who directly intuits the difference between the two that an experience is illusive just because it is a perception like a dream perception. It is obviously wrong to deny personal experiences for those who think what they are wise thinkers. Those who think that they are wise thinkers. Moreover, it is because the opponent is unable to prove that waking ideas are without the corresponding objects that he tries to reason their falsity on the analogy of a dream idea. But what is really not the intrinsic nature of a thing can never be proved to be such with the analogy of some other thing. For fire being directly experienced as being hot cannot become cold on the analogy of water. We have, however, demonstrated the dissimilarity between a dream and waking state, and so all arguments to the contrary will serve no purpose. Hence, whether the object is real or not, the subjective witness, being the same, can never be got rid of. It is on the firm foundation of this witness that we have taken the witness as quite real, even when the apparent experiences are taken to be as real as waking experiences. It is also on the foundation of this witness that we have taken both the experiences of waking and dream to be different, even while the witness is very same in both cases. It is again on the firm foundation of this witness, indeed, that we have taken both the phenomena of the states to be as real as they happen in one and the same state. The Buddhist, however, takes the experiences of both the states to be real as though there was no real witness common to both. Even the truth of the phenomena has been granted by the Vedantin on the sure basis, as mentioned above. It is a certainty granted by both the experiences, however, that this firm reality is the only reality that is common to the states. It is this sure reality of the common experience that grants the showy reality of the phenomena, while at the same time it grants the firm reality of the witness. Next, so this here it ends the aids to the reflection of Vedanta, reflection on Vedanta. Now, 38th chapter, techniques of Shankara's interpretation of the Upanishads. While there have been several schools of interpretations of the Upanishads preceding and following the emergence of Shankara's celebrated commentary on the Vedanta Sutras of Badarayana, the one unique feature of that famous commentary is that it presents a systematic and compact traditional interpretation which insisted on a happy amalgamation of direct intuition and the theological principles of karma mimamsa in bringing out the essence of Vedantic teaching. The very introduction to this Sutra Bhashya contains an appeal to universal intuition unmixed with any quotation to lay bare the normally unsuspected axiom that every instance of human thought is based upon an unwarranted mutual superimposition of identity of the real self and the unreal not self, together with a mistaken transference of the properties of each of these to the other. Shankara concludes that knowledge of the absolute unity of Atman as uniformly taught in the Upanishads is the only remedy for all the evil consequences of this fundamental tendency on the part of human mind to err. Again, in this introduction to his commentary on the fifth aphorism of Badarayana, Shankara has given a resume of what he has written in explanation of the previous sutras, that so far it has been concluded that Vedantic texts which aim at producing the intuition of Brahman, the infinite self, are syntactically construed as solely purporting to reveal Brahman without any connection of something to be done. It is thus clear that this teacher is anxious to emphasize that the combined method of exegetical interpretation of texts and appealing to the universal intuition as vouching for their validity is the principal technique of Upanishadic teaching. It is thus obvious that it is not quite right to regard this Acharya as an acute speculative philosopher or even as a logician given to syllogistic reasoning. This is confirmed by his vehement tirade against all speculative and syllogistic reasoning when he accepts Badarayana's Sutras 2.111 at its face value and argues that this kind of dry reasoning can never end in a final conclusion inasmuch as people think at various levels of intellect and there is always the possibility of one thinker disclosing the fallacy in another's reasoning and several logicians have been always at loggerheads with one another. As for the objection that Shruti Brahdaranyaka 456 itself teaches that reason also is to be uh, respected in addition to shravana or study of the text. He says that this cannot be made an excuse for allowing for dry reasoning also, but it is only the reasoning subservient to intuition in as offered by the Shruti itself that is resorted to in this context. Some suppose that Shankara regards all the universe as illusory on the score that he sometimes deduces text Prakriti should be regarded to be Maya and the great Lord as the magician, Shweta Upanishad 410. But this is not the right assessment either of the Shruti or Shankara's position. The Shrutis themselves, according to Shankara, cite illustrations from empirical life to clarify Vedantic thoughts, and Shankara himself says that all pramanas means of right knowledge, their objects and their resultant knowledge can well be real as long as the metaphysical intuition of one Brahmatman has dawned. Neither Shankara nor even Gaudapada brought about any revolution in Vedantic thought, as he is sometimes alleged. Shankara quotes neither Shankara nor even Gaudapada brought about any revolution in Vedantic thought as is sometimes alleged. Shankara quotes three verses from an ancient teacher of this tradition where the cardinal doctrines of Vedanta have been summed up. 1. When one has intuited one's identity with the Brahmatman, the pure being, there being nothing besides Atman, there cannot possibly be anything remaining to be achieved. Second, it's only before the intuition of the Atman that the inquirer is a knower, and when one has arrived at one's identity with the Atman, one becomes free from all duties and other defects of mundane life. Third one, just as the idea of one's self being body remains true so long as the true self other than the body is not seen, so also all the means of right knowledge continue to be valid only as long as the absolute Atman is not ascertained to be the only reality. Badarayana's interpretation of the message of the Upanishads, according to Shankaracharya, therefore, should not be looked upon as a mere theological exegesis of historical interest, not a mere piece of intellectual product satisfying the curiosity of the archaeologist, but a messenger of truth, which is the solace of all mankind, irrespective of the limitation of time or place. So, next chapter we shall discuss in the next session, 39th chapter, the Vedanta Shastra as the means of the knowledge of Brahman. We shall discuss in the next session. Hare Ram, Sadguru Charanarpitamastu, Shri 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 Sachidananda Saraswati Charanarvindar Shankararpitamastu, Om Tat Sat. सर्वे जना सुखिनो भवन्तु सज्जनास्तन्तु निर्भयाः